Chers amis, je m'appelle Hirotoshi Kitabayashi, je suis journaliste aujourd'hui. Aujourd'hui, maintenant, je suis ici avec Veronica Longo de Italie. Voilà, let me introduce her.
Konnichiwa. Watashi no namae wa Veronica Longo desu. Watashi wa Italian no Angaga desu. Anata tachi ni aite ontoni uresi desu. Kyo wa watashi no kokyo no Napoli no anashi wo shimasu. Kine ite kureru to ureshi desu. Saigo ma to kite kurete. Domo arigato. Konnichiwa. Good evening, I'm Veronica Longo, I'm an Italian engraver, and this is the part of exhibition. I was here for the Artist Resident program, and in my work you can see I wanted to show the matrix but also the prints. So this is the first matrix that I did with dry point and acrylic paint, but then you can see that even if the matrix is the same, I made different kind of prints. So just change it to the ink, like this, that is water-based ink. With brushes and water you can have different kind of prints. And here I still use the dry point and acrylic complexions, but I use this from the eggs. And so I was thinking, okay, if I'm using glue with this, maybe it could be nice. And this is the result. I printed the first part like it was in taglio, and the second part just with roll. Otherwise the whole will become very dark. So all this part of my work, they are much more experimental technique, very healthy, because you don't need to use ferric or acid. This one I wanted to do very traditional Japanese woodcut, so I made woodcut on Shinabenia, and then I printed on this Japanese paper. She was a child that I met in the paper factory, and the title of this work is Memory Far Away. Because I'm thinking that the childhood is a place that we already lost, but also because I think that when I will come back to Italy, Japan will be a memory far away. And this place is very symbolic for me. So it was my desk. I worked every day on this desk. I really love it. And this was the reason because I chose this place to make the part of my exhibition. So I brought this plate, copper plate, from Italy. So at the beginning, of course, it was completely empty. It was like this. And then I started to make my copper plate. I arrived here after 20 hours of travel by train, bus, or something else. And then on September 3rd, I started this copper plate. And I worked on it until on September 26th, so almost 1 month, every day very hard. And you can see with this lens that I made so many dots, so many points. So you can see that it's completely full of details. So it was very hard work, but I like it. And this is the result of the print. I used a different kind of color. There are 5. I used the black for the child, the sepia for the background, and blue, red, and yellow. But when generally you print like this, that the technique is called poupée, because you use a very little tarlatana. So generally you start with very dark color, and you make everything cleaner. So for example, you start with black, and then you clean, and then sepia, and you clean, and then blue, and red, and yellow. Because otherwise, the very light part, it will become dirty. And so this is the result of the print. So this copper plate, it was my first work, but the other one, it was my last work. And he is a teenager that I met in Naples. It was in the underground. I came from Romania. It was just playing an instrument and to ask money. And I saw his face, and I was thinking, this teenager, he will feel very sad. Maybe he also misses his country. And then I made this etching and dry point, but I also printed with the chincolle, with a very thin white gampi. And the difference between etching and dry point, you can see, because etching has very beautiful line, but if you want a black that is completely black, very soft like velvet, you must use dry point. And then the tattoo is nostalgia, because it was the last work that I made in Japan, and I think that I will feel nostalgia about Japan when I will come back to Italy. Then this other part is still a work about a child. His name is Ruben. He's my cousin's son. This child, to be honest, is a genius. He loves books. He reads so much. He's very smart, very clever. And if you want to make him happy, you have to buy for him a book. And he reads really so much. So I took this photo in my cousin's place. But when I was here, I worked with 3 different kinds of a plate. So the first plate is the background, the gray background. The second plate is the color, so red, green, blue, yellow, and orange. And as the last one, there is the photo Lito, that is the photo of the child. And the title is The Dream of Ruben, because I think that his imagination is very big, because he reads so much, so he has so many dreams and so many friends come from his book. And it was the first time that I made little photo Lito in my life, and I really enjoyed it with this technique. And also here is still Lito and photo Lito. First of all, I made this plate, just the tree. It is a tree from Akiruno. And then I asked to my friends to take me this photo, and it is still in Akiruno, this place. Of course, there was plenty of a tree, so I deleted the tree with the Photoshop, and then I made the photo Lito. And when I used the moment to print, first of all I printed the tree, the Lito, and then I printed my photo Lito. And I printed on Gampi paper. It's marvelous. Oh, Japan has so marvelous kind of paper. And the very difficult part of this work is that the 2 makers must be in perfect size. This is very difficult to do, so you have to make some marks. And so this is the landscape of my mind, because I am inside the landscape, but there is also another landscape that is inside my soul. And then after making this work, I just turned the plate, and I was thinking, wow, but this plate is nice, so I can also print only the tree in the vertical sides. And then the title is Things That I Missed, because this tree already lost its leaves. So, and yeah, I like it. And this work is etching, but is also mezzotint and burin, because I wanted a very, very deep black. And so to make the contrast between light and dark. And the title is Obscurity, because he does make very normal life. And in my subject, for many years, for 5 years, my subject was like this. I worked on bubble soap, because bubble soap for me is the meaning of life. We very soon disappear like bubble soap, and we never can know what can happen. Also, bubble soap is a game that everybody can do in every place, in every country. But now my subject is a bit changing. Now I'm trying to understand the feeling of people, our soul. And I think that maybe the beauty is sometimes also in the very ugly things. Sometimes if you see, for example, a fruit that is not good to eat, but if you see his skin, it's very beautiful. And so I think that also all the people, they have a kind of skin, the face is so old that you can feel the past. You can feel their life, their feeling. This work, first of all, I made the watercolor. Then I made a scan of my watercolor, and I used the scan to make photo etching. And then I made again etching, and finally I printed with the white Gampi. So I know that it's not common way to use photo etching, because generally people, when they do photo etching, they want photo. But sometimes when I use also photo, I want also to use my hand. It's very important for me. And then I was thinking, okay, I'm doing photo etching with my drawing. And finally, there is this work is etching. So, for example, you just can see that if you make, even if a deep line, but if you don't use, for example, mezzotint or direct technique, or for example, dry point, the black never can be so deep like velvet, like this kind of technique. And it is the same person. She's my grandmother's sister, and I think that sometimes all the people, they feel like very without help. So as they really needed somebody to help and to care about them. And so generally I really like to do children or old people because they have in common to be very fragile. And they, maybe children, they don't know what they can have about life, but all the people, they think, oh, maybe I don't have time enough. And this is all I think is a lot. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Merci beaucoup, Veronica. Very good. And grazie mille.
どういたしまして。